Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to this session of the Montgomery County Council. This afternoon, we have a number of public hearings. Our first is item 6 on our agenda, which is a public hearing on zoning text amendment 25-05, development standards, optional method, public benefits. This ZTA would update the public benefit system in commercial, residential, and employment zones. A Planning, Housing, and Park Committee work session is scheduled for June 16, 2025. Those wishing to submit material for the Council's consideration should do so by the close of business today. As a reminder of our public hearing testimony guidelines, for your comments must be limited to issues relevant to the public hearing topic for which you are testifying and are appropriate for a public meeting. You will hear a tone when your time is up, and we appreciate everybody abiding by their allotted time. The speakers we have today in person include Ken Hartman-Espada, Chair Artie Harris, Elizabeth Smith, and then we have one person virtual. So Mr. Hartman-Espada, Mr. Harris, and Ms. Smith, if you want to come down. Mm-hmm. And Mr. Hartman-Espada, you are up first.
Thank you so much, Council President Stewart and members of the County Council. Appreciate this opportunity to come before you to testify on behalf of the County Executive in support of ZTA 2505. I want to start off by saying the County Executive greatly appreciates the Planning Department's collaborative approach to this ZTA. An update was long overdue. Additional density, in the County Executive's opinion, should always come with real benefits to the public. As the Planning Department's incentive zoning update report states, under the existing point system, quote, despite the vast menu, optional method projects have repeatedly delivered a handful of public benefits regardless of the underlying zone or market conditions, unquote. The tiered system proposed in this ZTA seeks to change that dynamic. It is a step in the right direction, but its success will depend on the extent to which it can maximize the positive benefit, the positive impact of the public benefits that are essential to creating complete communities for all county residents. There are areas where more clarity is needed and its requirements strengthened, in particular when it comes to realizing the housing needs of our workforce that to date have eluded us. DHCA, as you know, DHCA has been working for several months on revisions to housing programs for our workforce, including MPDUs. The executive asked that you could consider additional changes to this proposed tiered system arising from that review. A memo that contains the county department feedback in detail has also been submitted for your review. Department representatives will be available to participate in upcoming work sessions. And again, thank you and hope you will support ZTA 2505.
Thank you. Chair Harris.
For the record, I'm Artie Harris, Chair of the Montgomery County Planning Board, Council President Stewart, and members of the Council. On May 29th, the Planning Board had a robust discussion on ZTAs 2505 and 2506, evaluating the benefits to county residents and businesses impacted by each ZTA. While we have transmitted our written comments to you previously, I want to take a moment and share some of our thoughts on these two ZTAs. To start with ZTA 2505, I want to thank the Council staff for collaborating with planning staff to prepare this draft. The public benefits point system is a useful policy applicable to our most intense zones, and it's important to keep it updated and calibrated to guide future growth around transit. Since 2010, the point system has not received a comprehensive review or update. This ZTA looks to update the public benefits point system informed by an objective and data-driven approach. The Planning Department did rigorous analysis, engaged experts across county agencies and the development community, and kept the public in the loop through the development of recommendations that inform this ZTA. It is the priority of the Planning Board to make sure every optional method project in the county moves the needle in achieving our overall policy goals of economic competitiveness, environmental resilience, and equity while also delivering needed amenities in neighborhoods. The Board recommends consideration of a small addition to the ZTA that would acknowledge the role of overlay zones and master plans to prioritize and modify public public benefits to align with the goals of that master plan. Detailed language is provided in our written comments. Moving on to ZTA 2506. The board appreciates the clarity this ZTA provides to determining setbacks and ensuring that filling stations do not become a non-conforming use after approval if a sensitive use is subsequently located within the 500-foot setback. In reviewing this ZTA, the board acknowledged the environmental impact of both the fuel dispensers and the underground storage tanks. Therefore, the board requests the council's consideration for an amendment that adds storage tanks to the setback requirements. Suggested language is in our written comments. The planning board appreciates the opportunity to review and provide comments to ZTAs 2505 and 2506 and unanimously recommends support of the ZTAs with the amendments as discussed. Planning staff are available to answer any questions or provide further guidance as council members consider these ZTAs. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chair Harris. Ms. Smith?
Good afternoon.
Oh, can you turn on your, yeah.
I'm new at this. Well,
Okay.
here. Good afternoon. I didn't think I'd be on this top of the list, but here goes. My name is Lisa Smith. I represent District 14 on the Montgomery County Democrat Central Committee. I also serve as a delegate to the Metropolitan Council AFL-CIO. I'm a proud member of Unite Here Local 25, and I'm also a board member of the Mid-County Citizen Advisory Board. I'm here to support the proposed TIF for White Oaks with strong conditions. This is the most important real estate
Sorry,
development.
Ms. Smith, sorry, that's a different public hearing.
That's why I was surprised I
Okay,
was so top
I
of
think
the
you got
list.
listed in the incorrect public hearing. This is for the zoning text amendment on development standards, optional method, public benefits.
And you
So,
see why I was confused, right?
yes, so our clerk, Ms. Tannenbaum, will help you navigate where we'll list you there, but is it okay? Do you have time to hang out for a little bit? till
I
we
will
get to that
hang
one?
out and repeat what I just said.
I very much appreciate you. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
All right. Well, with that, then, those were all the in-person testimony we have. We have one person virtual testifying on this. And before we go to Ms. Erin Gerard, I do want to note that our colleague, Councilmember Lukey, as she was this morning, is virtual listening to the public hearings. And as soon as Ms. Gerard, you are ready, you can begin your testimony.
Great, thank you so much. Thank you, Councilwoman Stewart and members of the County Council. I'm here today on behalf of Regency Centers, who owns a number of commercial properties in Montgomery County, but specifically today I'm speaking on the West Bar development, also known as Westwood Shopping Center in Bethesda. It's a 23-acre property that received preliminary plan approval in 2019. Our concern with the ZTA is the lack of grandfathering language. Some of the, as anyone who's driven by would see, it's undergoing a lot of change. It has an overall preliminary plan, but the site plans are phased. So since the original approval in 2019, we've come through with various site plans, and there's more to go. The concern is that the ZTA would lower the threshold for optional method development in the CRT zone from 1 to 0.5. All of Westwood Shopping Center was approved under a 1 and contemplated the standard method of development. So our concern is that future phases that may be between the 0.5 and 1.0 might come through and have different rules applied to them than was envisioned during the original entitlement and foreseen for the build out of the project. So our concern is as simple as that. We do have future phases that will be coming in soon, and they will be in that sweet spot. The other thing we're concerned about is often when we go through and new phases come in, we have to amend the original entitlements, and we want to make sure that those amendments are also protected from not triggering the optional method of development, as the overall project is very close to that 1 threshold. And I did submit written testimony on this same topic this morning, and I thank you for your consideration.
Okay, great. I just want to do a check to make sure we don't have another Elizabeth Smith, because Ms. Smith is registered correctly for the next public hearing. Just making sure there's not another Elizabeth Smith in the room wanting to testify on this CTA. All right, not seeing anyone. Thank you all. This public hearing is now closed. We will now move on to item 7, and that is a public hearing on zoning text amendment 25-06, vehicle service filling station. This ZTA would amend the setback requirements for a filling station and amend the applicability of a non-conforming use to a filling station. A Planning, Housing, and Parks Committee work session is scheduled for June 23rd, 2025. Those wishing to submit material for the council's consideration should do so by the close of business on June 16th, 2025. As a reminder of our public hearing testimony guidelines, your comments must be limited to issues relevant to the public hearing topic for which you are testifying and are appropriate for a public meeting. You will hear a tone when your time is up, and we appreciate everyone abiding by their allotted time. We have a number of folks who are registered to speak who are here and in person. I'd like to call up Dan Wilhelm, Peter Meichen, Drew Gorman, Daniela Shinvenki, and Mr. Artie Harris already spoke. And Dan Wilhelm, you will have 5 minutes to speak because you are also speaking on item number 9. So when you are ready, please go ahead.
I guess that means I can talk to 2.
Yeah.
For the record, I'm Dan Wilhelm. I'm president of Greater Colesville Citizens Association, also a director of LabQuest Community Association. I'm speaking for both organizations today. Both organizations support ZTA 25-06, which will clarify how the 500-foot separation from sensitive areas is measured. It doesn't change to 500, just says how it's measured. And this is for filling stations. It would also ensure that use would not become non-conforming if adjacent conditions changed. Both of these clarifications are needed to support a possible tenant who is considering locating to Beaver White Oak. Using the locations where the gas can be spilled is reasonable for measuring the separation from sensitive areas. The locations where spills reasonably would occur are at the gas pumps or any underground storage, which typically is under or near the pumps. Note the 500 feet, it sounds like short, but it's really like a tenth of a mile, so it's not a small number. Moving on to the subject, both organizations again support, and those that support and strongly urge the council to enact the proposed TIF legislation to create a development district and a TIF district. Don't really fully understand this subject, so I'm looking forward to hearing your work sessions. We also strongly support the concept to use future tax revenue from Beaver White Oak to finance the infrastructure required to develop it quickly. Under existing procedures, the county would fund and build the needed infrastructure, but funding such an expenditure is not currently practical. The TIF would allow investors to purchase bonds which would be used to finance the cost of the infrastructure. As we understand the proposed TIF program, it is not dependent on county appropriations, will not constitute debt to the county, will use incremental value created by MCB's development efforts as a funding source to pay back to bondholders, and has been thoroughly analyzed by the county executive's experts. Our understanding is that Public Finance community concluded that the TIF proposal is a no-brainer. It would result in very broad spectrum of high-quality employment opportunities and small enterprise government generational wealth-building opportunities for East County. This Beaver White Oak is critical to achieving the vision of the White Oak Science Gateway Master Plan. Beaver White Oak will leverage FDA headquarters and Adventist White Oak Medical Center to become a thriving, world-class bio-innovation epicenter. It would also create vital live, work, and play community with shops, restaurants, entertainment venues, parks, and open space. These amenities have been lacking in East County for many decades. Beaver White Oak is also critical for the county as a whole to fulfill the county's Thrive 2050 general plan. Unlike most development projects in the county's pipeline, Beaver White Oak is explicitly identified as the only new strategic, important, large activity centers. There's a lot other activity centers, but they're all existing. Beaver White Oak can uniquely fulfill not only the Thrive objectives, but also the county's other public policies related to racial equity and social justice. Obviously, these benefits will be focused on East County, not just Viva White Oak or the White Oak Science Gateway Master Plan, and some benefits will extend to other parts of the county. Viva will provide some 4,500 to 5,000 much-needed housing units, which this council keeps talking about. Anyway, some of the units will be easy walk distance to White Oak Medical Center, where today many nurses drive over an hour to reach the hospital. It will also provide a wide range of new jobs in Eastern County, which today has too few jobs. For the foregoing reasons, both groups support the council to approve the TIF and work to define the legislative detail to approve and administer the financing and infrastructure needed to build Viva White Oak in a timely manner. We fully look forward to offering additional comments as more details are publicly available. It appears that the county is considering projects needed to support the adequate public facilities. We've heard rumors that there may be discussion on this subject, other than those internally to Viva White Oak, and that MCB has identified, which is the first priority. Assuming my understanding is accurate, we will propose other infrastructure projects we feel are needed for the immediate area. This includes select projects from within LATIP and CIP, such as the BRT. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Wilhelm. Next, we have Peter Mayakan. Miokian. Thank you, Mr. Miokian.
At least that didn't get recorded.
I appreciate that, Mr. Miokian.
Yes. Council President and council members, it's an honor for me as chair of the East County Citizens Advisory Board to provide our comments on the two items that we're going to discuss, the TIF as well as the ZTA 2506. We fully endorse this amendment, the vehicle services filling station item on the county agenda, which increases the setback requirements for filling stations by 500 feet and refines the criteria for separation from sensitive areas as outlined in the ZTA. This amendment is crucial to ensuring that vehicle service station businesses have an opportunity to establish operations within the Viva White Oak development area while maintaining appropriate environmental and community safeguards. Approving this proposal will ensure continued investment in our community, fostering job creations, attracting businesses, and modernizing essential infrastructure. We urge the county to take a decisive action to support this transformative development. Additionally, going to the TIF item, we also support and urge the county council to support and approve the proposed TIF and Development District proposals submitted by the County Executive, Mark Elrich, for the $2.8 billion Viva White Oak development within the White Oak Science Gateway Master Plan. This initiative presents a critical opportunity to accelerate economic development, strengthen infrastructure, and enhance the quality of life for residents and businesses in our East County community. For the past 15 years, the Advisory Board has worked diligently to advance economic growth in East County. Over the last 5 years, we've seen meaningful progress in this development. It is imperative that we maintain this momentum to propel East County forward and finally realize the promise of sustained economic vitality. The establishment of the TIF district will provide necessary financial tools to encourage private investment in key areas, again, fostering jobs and sustained growth. By leveraging future tax revenues to fund public improvement, the county can revitalize underdeveloped areas, improve transportation network, and strengthen local businesses. Furthermore, this investment will have long-term benefits, attracting new businesses, increasing property values, bringing thousands of jobs, housing, infrastructure, and generating revenue that supports essential county services. The TIF district is a strategic mechanism to stimulate economic vitality while maintaining fiscal responsibility. The county is also guaranteed that this proposal will have no impact to its bond rating, the risk being assumed by the developer and its partners. I encourage the council to approve this initiative, work collaboratively to ensure successful implementation. Montgomery County has long been recognized as a hub for innovation and progress, and the proposed TIF district aligns with our shared vision and thriving community. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Next, we have Mr. Gorman.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Council President Stewart and members of the County Council. For the record, my name is Drew Gorman, Principal and Head Development for MCB, and I'm speaking in support of ZTA 2506. MCB is the developer of a 280-acre Viva White Oak multi-use project that is also a later item on the agenda, as we've already heard. MCB is pursuing an opportunity to bring to Viva White Oak a large format retailer whose operations include a fuel facility. And this retailer will provide significant incentives for other retailers and commercial uses to locate in Viva White Oak, as well as generating significant employment and economic activity. The ZTA is critical to MCB's efforts to not only attract this key and catalytic retailer, but also because it will clarify with certainty where other components of the project will be located in connection with restrictions relative to the use standards for large fuel stations. It is important to understand that we are not, that the ZTA does not propose to relax those location restrictions. It just provides more certainty as to how it is applied in the critical planning of adjacent roads, access points, and other uses within any mixed-use development. The objective standard proposed in the ZTA will provide applicants adequate confidence to invest the significant resources and time required to develop a plan that meets the standards and to proceed to the conditional use process. A second component of the ZTA that addresses non-conforming status is also important to ensure that the balance of the Viva White Oak project can develop around the fuel facility and without causing a zoning issue that would impede or impact the financing or future modifications, renovation, or other changes to the fuel station. Thank you, and happy to answer any other questions.
Thank you. Mr. Shavaka?
Good afternoon, Madam President, distinguished council members. People dedicated their lives to win the public health protections and stream protections threatened by zoning text amendment 2506. We did not do it to protect our own community. The setback would not apply to an already submitted gas station application. We did it to protect all the other communities and streams in Montgomery County, to make sure no other community has to face billion-dollar bullies on their own. We like to brag about setting the record for longest running hearing in Montgomery County's 249-year history. Not bad, right? Just 1 hour, one of our hearings lasted 38 full days with breaks for lunch and nearly 10,000 pages of transcript. But that was not our main achievement, council member. We also earned over 500 pieces of earned media coverage. 500. Every TV channel, every radio station, every newspaper, we still had those things back then, was covering our story. Ever heard of anything like that before or since? Why not, you think? We stood up to the planet's 4th largest retailer, and we stood up to the planet's largest retail real estate property owner. We got media coverage across the DC metro area and Baltimore and Eastern Shore because we did not just stand up to corporate bullies. We held our ground. We held our ground for years and years, facing off against virtually unlimited resources and every law firm and every expert for hire and every lobbyist and every PR and crisis management consultant they could throw at us. We held our ground. We held our ground despite constant betrayals of agency staff and elected officials, and against the naysayers who insisted we would never win. Despite it all, we held our ground. What happened next? We got even more media coverage. Why? Because after holding our ground, we squared up and we stood toe-to-toe with the biggest corporations on planet Earth. And then we started to push back and back and back until we had the bullies on the ropes and on the ground. Why did we get this media coverage? Why were people around the nation interested in our story, watching our David versus Goliath battle? Because our fighting spirit gave people hope. Given enough sacrifice and hard work, fairness and justice can still prevail. And because our If called out and taken into account, democratic institutions can still do right by people in America. That's the worst part of this bill, of the ZTA 2506, how it was introduced and how it is being treated. This legislation is hostile not just to the science and to public health policy, it is hostile to people's hopes and hostile to what little faith the people still have in democratic institutions. This is why half the country is cheering demolition of federal agencies just down the street in D.C., and why the other half of the country is unwilling to defend those agencies. The people are not the problem. The people have been betrayed again and again and again. What's going on in D.C. is not the problem. It's symptoms of the problem. The problems are here on Main Street and Rockville, and ZTA 2506 is hostile to people's faith in our ability to collectively solve these problems. This bill is hostile to the very notion of democracy. I urge the Council for an unfavorable opinion on this bill, and I urge the bill sponsors to withdraw it immediately. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The public hearing for this ZTA is now closed. Thank you to everyone who is here. Item number 8 is a public hearing on Bill 13-25, licensing and regulations generally, picnics, dances, soirees, and other entertainment amendments. This bill would prohibit an unlicensed party for gain or profit to which the general public is admitted with certain exceptions, establish the penalty for violation of the prohibition against an unlicensed party for gain or profit at a residential property to which the general public is admitted, and related violations in the same occurrence, and generally amend the law governing licensing and regulations. A joint Economic Development Committee and Public Safety Committee work session is scheduled for June 23rd, 2025. Those wishing to submit material for the Council's consideration should do so by the close of business on June 16th, 2025. As a reminder, our public hearing testimony guidelines. Your comments must be limited to issues relevant to the public hearing topic for which you are testifying and are appropriate for a public meeting. You will hear a tone when your time is up, and we appreciate everyone abiding by their allotted time. We have one person here in person to testify, Ashley Vesapoli. Ms. Vespoli? Ms. Vespoli?
Good afternoon, council members, and thank you for the opportunity to speak to you today. I am Ashley Vespoli, a concerned citizen that has been affected by illegal pay-to-play parties that have taken place in my neighborhood. I support this bill because the increased penalty provides the necessary teeth to help deter the illegal and disruptive conduct that has destroyed our small neighborhood. For over 2 years, my small neighborhood has been held captive with over a dozen commercial parties taking place at one residence. These commercial parties have effectively turned that home into a private club, with charging as much as $2,000 for a table and VIP placement. Partygoers lining up in the driveway to pay entrance fees and be frisked and have their bags checked, just like they're walking into a club. Frisked by people wearing bulletproof vests, which bodes the question, why are they wearing bulletproof vests in my neighborhood? Bottle service, hookah rental, DJs with amplified music far exceeding Montgomery County noise ordinances, blasting expletives and offensive music within earshot of my young children. My neighbors and I have done everything that we can to try to bring attention to these parties that have paralyzed our neighborhood for years. Mind you, we're not talking about barbecues or graduation parties that have gotten a little out of control. We're talking about a commercial enterprise. We're talking about hundreds of people, paid promoters, paid armed bodyguards, chartered tour buses, busing partygoers into my shared private driveway. Imagine being stopped on your driveway by an armed security guard to be asked with your children in the car if you paid for VIP access on my driveway. Imagine having to explain to your 5-year-old why there are women wearing virtually no clothes walking down your driveway in the middle of a Sunday afternoon. Hundreds of drunken, belligerent partygoers littering, urinating, defecating, fornicating on private property with absolutely no respect for the homeowners. So many cars that the roads are blocked that, heavens forbid, if there was an emergency event, fire, police, ambulances would not be able to get in. My understanding is that the Montgomery County agencies and the county attorneys have foregone pursuing citation because the cost and effort of prosecuting simply isn't worth the minimal fines. Lack of prosecution and enforcement has emboldened the offenders to repeat parties over and over again. Our county enforcement agencies and the county attorney have told stakeholders they need a more severe penalty to enforce these violations. And I implore you to help provide these agencies, the county attorney, and the police the resources that they need to shut parties down like the ones occurring in my neighborhood. Make the penalty harsh enough that promoters will think twice before coming into our Montgomery County neighborhoods to turn a profit. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Thank you for being here this afternoon. We have one public speaker here who is virtual. I have Seth Novick. Mr. Novick, you can start when you're ready. Mr. Novick, can you hear us? We can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay.
Perfect.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for letting me speak today, especially going after my neighbor, Ashley Vespoli, who spoke so eloquently about the challenges that we've been experiencing over the last number of years. As a resident deeply concerned about the ongoing disruption and safety risks caused by large commercial parties in our residential neighborhood, I strongly urge the support of this legislation that would restrict these events, which have continued to jeopardize the well-being, safety, and quality of life for families like mine. Up until now, we have yet to see substantive, actionable outcomes that protect this community. Just over the past year alone, my personal experiences with these parties from our neighbor was repeated verbal harassment and intimidation by party guests as well as residents, within the home, unlawful trespassing on my property and other neighbors' property, including near windows of my family's home. I've had people looking in and saying, seeing what's going on. Indecent exposure, public urination, intoxicating behavior. As my neighbor Ashley Vespoli mentioned, folks paying exorbitant amounts of money to come here and just use this as their own personal nightclub. Dangerous handling of fireworks, some directed into my property by these partygoers, constant noise pollution, severe traffic congestion, ongoing public disturbances has been really what has been going on, in the last number of years since these parties, have happened. We realize these are not isolated incidents, but part of a recurring pattern that has made it unsafe and stressful to live in what should be a peaceful, family-oriented neighborhood. The most alarming part is that children live here and play here. We are constantly left wondering whether it will take a tragedy before meaningful action, actually takes place. As my, neighbor so eloquently put it, we are living in fear. These types of incidents, have forced my son, who is 11, to not want to go outside and not be present when these things are happening. Ironically, there isn't really any much place to go when these parties do happen. They are so congested. There's so many party goers, upwards of 300 plus with cars, traffic, all kinds of things. It's just not safe to be outside, let alone how unpleasant, it really is. So while we recognize the complexity of policymaking, it's disheartening to witness rapid increases in property taxes without a corresponding increase in protections or services. We want to take back our neighborhood, so I hope you will show us by passing this legislation that this is a step in the right direction. So thank you all for your time.
Thank you very much. And that is all of our public speakers for this hearing. This public hearing is now closed. Next, we have item number 9, which is a public hearing on a resolution to approve the creation of a development district and tax increment financing district, White Oak. Before we begin this public hearing on the resolution to approve the creation of a development district and tax increment financing district in White Oak, I want to provide some comments on process. Today, we're hearing public comments on a resolution to enable the process to move forward to create a development district. This is the first step, and and in future weeks, we'll be voting on that resolution. If the resolution passes, the next step is for the proposed development district to be reviewed by the Planning Board for adequate public facilities. Following the Planning Board's review, the executive will review the development district and prepare a fiscal report. The council will then review the executive's fiscal report and we will vote on a second resolution to actually create the TIF or the development district. So to clarify, today we have the public hearing and a vote in the coming weeks to enable the process and analysis to move forward. This is new for us, so I just wanted to provide some context for that because we've received some different questions on the process. So as I previously stated, this is a public hearing on a resolution to approve the creation of a development district and tax increment financing district, White Oak. We will have council action in the upcoming weeks on the resolution. Those wishing to submit material for the council's consideration should do so by the close of business today. And as a reminder of our public hearing testimony guidelines, your comments must be limited to issues relevant to public hearing topic for which you are testifying and are appropriate for a public meeting. You'll hear a tone when your time is up, and we appreciate everyone abiding by their allotted time. And we have a number of people who are here in person. I first call up Mr. Tom Lewis, Dan Reed, Brian Levine, Rachel Evans, and Tony Byrne. Yeah, she actually registered. She's okay. Mr. Lewis, you can start.
Thank you, President Stewart, Vice President Girondo, and members of the council. Thank you for allowing me to speak today on this important issue. For the record, my name is Tom Lewis. I'm the Development Ombudsman for the county. And just I want to say at the outset, other witnesses may describe the Viva White Oak project in more detail, but I will just say that it is a large, potentially transformative project for East County and in East County, but it has significant and unique infrastructure issues. It's 280 acres and has very large upfront road and grading needs and some environmental contamination. So this resolution has been introduced to consider using tax increment financing, or TIFs, in the county for such transformational development opportunities that, due to particular unique infrastructure problems, they need additional financing support to go forward. So I think the initial question is, what is TIF? Many of you are familiar with it, but some are not, perhaps. A TIF is a tool for financing development projects in which the local government sells bonds to finance the public infrastructure on a specific property or for specific area called the development district, so that the property can be developed. And the bonds get repaid in the future, and this is the key part, the bonds get repaid in the future by the incremental or increased tax revenue that's generated on that property from the development that occurs. So TIF bonds sometimes are called self-financing because rather than having the entire county all the taxpayers in the county pay it back, it's only the taxes that are generated on that property that pay back the TIF bond. So, and just as a sort of procedural into the future concept, local government authorizing body, the county council, initially gets to authorize the overall maximum that can be authorized for the project over the life of the project, and then at each phase of development, as the project develops, they again get an analysis before the next phase goes forward, and they get to vote on that again. So there's an initial upfront authorization for the maximum over the life of the project, and then phases go on, and the council votes again at each time. Now, why consider a TIF in Montgomery County now, after all these years, where some other counties have been doing this? The economics have changed in recent years, and margins on development are somewhat smaller than they had been in the past. And now there are some potentially transformational projects, and this is one we believe, the county executive believes, for which there's an unusual or unique infrastructure problem, and it's no longer feasible. So we urge that these projects go forward, that this analysis go forward, and the TIFs can be considered at some later point. Thank you very much for your time.
Great. Thank you, and I'm sure Mr. Lewis will hear from you a lot over the next couple of months on this. I don't see Mr. Reed with us, so I will now turn to Mr. Levine.
Good afternoon, Council President, Council Vice President, members of the Council. I am Brian Levine with the Montgomery County Chamber, and I will be brief. We are here today to support the creation of a development district and the establishment of tax increment financing for the Viva White Oak project in East County. We advocate that Montgomery County utilize every tool, including TIFs, if they help move important projects forward. Just coincidentally, during a recent commercial real estate roundtable that the Chamber hosted in December, some of the roundtable speakers, when they were trying to figure out ways to move commercial and residential development forward in the county, identified TIFs as a crucial and innovative mechanism that are used in neighboring jurisdictions but not yet in Montgomery County. Therefore, the Chamber commends the use of the proposal of a TIF for the first time ever in Montgomery County in support of the Viva White Oak project and encourages its consideration for future initiatives as well. We also support the Viva White Oak project, which brings quality development to East County, which is an area that has historically lagged behind other parts of the county. The project will deliver much-needed economic growth and job creation in East County and accelerate and foster innovation throughout the county and even the region. We recognize the Viva White Oak project, and we appreciate MCP Real Estate leadership on this as a vital opportunity to rejuvenate East County with new life, new jobs, investment, while addressing longstanding disparities in development in the county. So again, we're here today in support of the creation of a development district and a TIF district for the Viva White Oak project, and look forward to seeing this initiative and this innovative thinking used on more projects in the future. Please favorably consider this resolution, and I appreciate your time.
Thank you so much. Ms. Evans?
Good afternoon. My name is President Stewart and members of the County Council. My name is Rachel Evans, and I'm the chair of the board of the Friends of White Oak. A little background on me: I'm a long-term resident of Silver Spring, first in downtown Silver Spring and now in White Oak. Over the years, I have noticed several parts of Montgomery County grow and flourish, including downtown Silver Spring, Bethesda, and the Pike and Rose section of North Bethesda, with strong support from the county. In contrast, very little investment or development has occurred in White Oak, particularly in terms of amenities. For those that know me, they know I value restaurants and entertainment, not just for enjoyment, because these are essential components of a vibrant, connected community. Restaurants in particular serve as a gathering place, and their absence is deeply felt. Since I moved to White Oak in 2008, only one new sit-down restaurant has opened just in the last year at White Oak Town Center, and it closes at 2 p.m. daily. That is just not equitable, especially in a county as prosperous as Montgomery County. I share this background to say that on behalf of Friends of White Oak, that I'm here today to express our strong and unequivocal support of the proposed tax incremental financing TIF legislation that will help bring the Viva White Oak project to life. Friends of White Oak was founded in 2017 to promote a vision of inclusive, community-centered growth in East Montgomery County. Since then, we have worked to ensure that White Oak residents have a meaningful voice in shaping a future rooted in opportunity, equity, and access to quality infrastructure. Viva White Oak represents the kind of investment our community has long awaited. This development has the potential to transform White Oak into a connected, thriving hub like other parts of the county, and that fulfills the promise of the White Oak Science Gateway Master Plan that was adopted in 2014. Viva White Oak will bring essential infrastructure, housing, amenities, restaurants, and jobs to a part of the county that has not seen this level of coordinated public and private investment. The proposed TIF is a smart, proven tool for delivering these public benefits. It leverages projects' future tax revenues generated by the development without drawing on existing county resources to fund the infrastructure improvements that will serve the entire community. This is a fiscally responsible approach that supports equitable development. We urge you to support this legislation and seize this opportunity to deliver the long overdue investment that East County deserves. Our community is ready and waiting. We urge you to support this TIF for Viva White Oak. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Mr. Byrne?
Thank you. Yes, for the record, I'm Tony Byrne. I live in the North Woodside neighborhood of Silver Spring. And I just wanted to share a little vignette that hopefully casts some flavor on this. My wife and I signed up for a bike-a-thon in Loudoun County, and we decided to stay in a hotel the night before. We're driving through these canyon lands of data centers and so forth, and then lo and behold, we end up at our hotel at this place called Loudoun One. Now, Loudoun One, if you don't know it, is actually very similar to what's proposed with Viva White Oak. It's this strip of a nice long boulevard, about 6 blocks wide, all commercial, and then about 6, other streets that are commercial. And it was wonderful. It was like this oasis in the desert. Lots of green space, intergenerational, older people, younger people, working people, multi-ethnic, multiracial, and all kinds of different types of amenities and retail. They even had a frickin' Barnes & Noble, and it was packed. And there were people out everywhere, hanging out, kids playing games, older people playing chess, just almost like something out of a movie. And, of course, the key to what they were doing is that they packed it, the outside with housing. Townhouses, small townhouses, large townhouses, apartments, condos, 1, 2, 3. Other developers are now building other housing outside of that, all walkable. So this is extraordinary. My wife and I thought, heck, we'd like to live here. And then we're wondering, well, why isn't there a place like this in Montgomery County? So we come to find out that Loudoun One actually was supported with a TIF mechanism. Come to find out that TIFs are used all over the Mid-Atlantic, just not in Montgomery County yet. We're looking to downsize now that we are kidless in our house. Of course, as you know, our zoning laws don't allow anyone to build duplexes or condos or anything in our neighborhood. So I think hopefully we can work on that. But we need more of this sort of thing in Montgomery County. It feels like, I've been participating in a lot of land use debates over the past several years, and it seems like there's been a lot of sclerosis, a lot of gridlock. We kind of became the county that said no. And this is your chance to be the county that says yes, and I hope you will take it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your testimony today. We have another set of in-person folks testifying. Call down Stephanie Helsing, Elizabeth Smith, now is your time, Teresa Stegman, and Jeremiah Pope. And we'll start with Stephanie Helsing. Yeah, I know. Okay, Ms. Helsing, you start when you're ready.
Good afternoon, Council President Stewart, Vice President Giolando, and esteemed members of the Council. Thank you for hearing me today. For the record, my name is Stephanie Helsing, and I am the President and CEO of the Greater Silver Spring Chamber of Commerce, representing 320 employers, mostly small and minority-owned businesses in the Greater Silver Spring and surrounding Montgomery area. The Chamber is here today to give a statement of full support for the Viva White Oak Tax Increment Financing Plan to ensure the completion of this much-anticipated and vital project for East County. The mission of the Greater Silver Spring Chamber is to support widened opportunities by growing jobs and businesses to increase prosperity for all of our residents. The perpetually delayed Viva White Oak project is what Silver Spring needs to make this happen in East County. This is more than just another project. This is a long overdue promise to invest in and revitalize Eastern Montgomery County. The use of a TIF plan will allow this to happen without impacting county resources or services. In short, the East County deserves the same quality services, housing, retail, and amenities that exist in other parts of the county. And the Chamber encourages the county to use all the tools at their disposal to promote economic development in this area. This plan will help jumpstart the local economy in Greater Silver Spring with new jobs in a highly supported, inclusive, and diverse working environment, as well as providing much-needed housing. So basically, you're getting both the economic development and the housing piece, which is crucial. Further, the development is critically important for the White Oak Science Gateway Plan and helps achieve the county's goal of growing our employment base in an equity focus area, a geographic location that merits increasing focus on economic opportunity. Viva White Oak will be the center of an area with multiple points of engagement and activity that have also been pointed out and identified as goals in Thrive 2050. In closing, the Chamber wholeheartedly supports the use of tax increment financing, allowing for Viva White Oak to become an exciting mixed-use space that will enhance the immediate area and spur increased reinvestment throughout Greater Silver Spring. We urge the County Council to approve this plan and further to expedite the entire process to ensure that this development finally breaks ground sooner than later. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Now, Ms. Smith.
This is really funny. Not many people know that my government name is Elizabeth, but now you do.
Now we
Okay,
do.
so I'm not going to go through the introduction. I'm not going to bore you again, but I'm Lisa Smith. I'm here wearing my union hat. I'm here to support the proposed TIF for White Oaks with a strong condition. This is the most important real estate development East County have ever seen. $2.8 billion in investment, 17,000 construction jobs, 9,000 permanent jobs, nearly 5,000 new homes, and an estimated $62 million in new annual revenue for the county. The TIF tool is a smart policy. It funds infrastructure that rolls in utility using future tax revenue for the project itself, not from existing county resources. But this investment must come with guarantees. As a union member, I support the TIF only if developers commit to using union labor from construction and create high-quality jobs for future workers. We have a chance to transform East County. Let's make sure that it's transformation that uplifts working families, support good jobs, and create opportunities for all. Thank you for your time, and I also would like to take this opportunity to thank the 4 council members who have supported Unite Here Local 25 boycott. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Smith. Next, we have Ms. Stegman.
All right. Good afternoon, Council President Stewart and honorable members of the council. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. My name is Teresa Stegman. I'm a Vice President of Development and Structured Finance with MCB Real Estate. I'm here today on behalf of MCB White Oak Developer LLC, the developer of Viva White Oak, a transformational investment for East Montgomery County. For those council members who may not know us, I'd like to briefly introduce MCB and the impactful work that we do. We are a full-service real estate firm managing more than $3 billion across a national portfolio of 17 million square feet with nearly 4 million square feet in active development. Our projects span industrial, office, retail, mixed use, multifamily, and life sciences. We are best known for our community-centered projects that create long-term value. Some of our completed work includes Northwood Commons in Baltimore, a $46 million grocery-anchored retail center adjacent to Morgan State that eliminated a food desert and supports local alumni-owned businesses. Yard 56, a $200 million redevelopment of a former brownfield into a vibrant mixed-use hub, including retail, medical office, and apartments. And Reservoir Square, which I personally led, that leveraged just $2 million in state capital into $50 million of private investment to date, including a partnership with a national home builder to build market-rate housing, lease revenue bonds to fund a workforce development headquarters, and a recently announced grocer for West Baltimore. What all of these projects have in common is that they are all located in areas once characterized as severely distressed or challenged with significant infrastructure. But now they all generate millions in local revenue. But importantly, none of these would have been possible without some amount of public investment. We are here today to humbly request that the council start the process that will allow 280 acres in East County to access tax increment financing, which will fund the public infrastructure necessary to unlock a nearly $3 billion investment. Critically, there is over $100 million of spine infrastructure, including 3 master plan roads, not otherwise funded by other sources, that need your support for the first phase to happen. Viva White Oak will deliver 4,700 new homes, including market rate and moderately priced for sale and rental units. 1.7 million square feet of life science space, and over 9,000 permanent jobs. The first phase alone includes over 500,000 square feet of development, and we have leases or letters of intent for over half of that space in active negotiation. TIF is not a subsidy or a tax break. It uses future property tax revenue, not existing dollars, to fund required upfront public infrastructure. If revenue falls short, MCB is contractually obligated to fund the gap. This project will generate $62 million in new annual revenue for the county and bring long-promised investment to East County. It's a once-in-a-generation opportunity and supported by the community, as evidenced by the residents here today testifying. Thank you. We are prepared to roll up our sleeves and deliver for East County. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Mr. Pope?
Good afternoon, Council President Stewart, Vice President Joando, and members of the council. Once again, my name is Jeremiah Pope. My family and I are longtime proud residents of East County. Thank you for the opportunity to offer my testimony today. For too long, the eastern part of Montgomery County has been overlooked and underinvested. Many of us in East County have been advocating for decades just to receive a fair share of the county's growth and resources. I've personally been engaged in this fight for nearly 15 years, and I believe the $2.8 billion Viva White Oak project represents the kind of transformative investment our county deserves. The proposed creation of Development District TIF to support the Viva White Oak project, which has the potential to bring much needed jobs, new homes, and infrastructure improvements in a historically underserved area. While some residents remain skeptical, and rightfully so, given past disappointments, I believe this is an opportunity we cannot afford to miss. TIFs, when managed well, can be powerful tools for attracting new investment, supporting sustainable economic growth, creating jobs and improving infrastructure, and revitalizing neglected or underrepresented areas. However, I also recognize that TIFs are not without risk. Concerns about displacement, complex administration, and rising costs are valid. That's why I support this TIF program only if it's grounded in transparency and accountability. These are non-negotiable. Transparency means regular reporting, public oversight, and genuine community engagement. Accountability means ensuring that the benefits of the project are shared equitably and that promises made to East County residents are kept. The community must have a seat at the table, not just as observers, but as partners. We must ensure that residents, especially those most vulnerable to displacement or exclusion, receive tangible benefits from this program. So yes, I stand in support of the TIF, but only if these critical safeguards are in place. With that assurance, I believe this could mark a new chapter for East County, one of long overdue investments, equity, and progress. Thank you for the time and for your consideration for my testimony.
Thank you, Mr. Pope. Thank you to everyone who is here in person to testify. I believe we have one person who is virtual, Mr. Barry Wides. Yeah. There he goes.
Okay. Good afternoon. My name is Barry Whitus. I'm president of the North White Oak Civic Association, and I also served 4 years on the county's Friends of White Oak Committee. Our civic association is probably the closest local civic association to the Viva White Oak, about a half a mile away, and we're particularly concerned about the impact of traffic at this project, which could contain 4,700 units and 2.5 million square feet of non-residential space. We do support the creation of the TIF and Development District, but we'd like to see the resolution amended so to expand these districts to include nearby arterial roads, thus allowing for funds to be used for roadway expansion on US 29, Old Columbia Pike, and Cherry Hill Road. It's important that note that the White Oak, Viva White Oak, is landlocked on the south and the southwest by the FDA and the Paint Branch, respectively. Because of these geographic limitations, the only ingress and egress to Viva White Oak would either be from Industrial Boulevard or Tech Road to Columbia Pike, US 29, or FDA Boulevard to Cherry Hill. And rush hour along US 29 is currently notorious for being amongst the worst in the county during rush hour. A southbound 2-mile trip on US 29 from Industrial Boulevard to Tech Road, where southbound residents from Viva White Oak would exit the development, go into the Beltway during rush hour, currently takes 30 minutes. And the last traffic study estimated that it could take 45 minutes with full build-out of the master plan. We think that the creation of the flash bus with dedicated lanes on US 29 could potentially facilitate access to the Silver Spring Metro for some commuters. However, commuters unable to use mass transit, the loss of a traffic lane and the increased development of Viva White Oak would further worsen a bad situation. The White Oak Master Plan of 2014 identifies a number of road projects on US 29, Old Columbia Pike, Powder Mill Road, and other major roadways near Viva White Oak to address problems. But besides the flash bus, no significant transportation improvements have been made in more than a decade since the plan was approved. And many of the proposed projects identified in the master plan on US 29 have been languishing on the books for decades. Unfortunately, we're still working with a traffic study that's not been updated to reflect the specific Viva White Oak development, and we look forward to having input as the council reviews the adequate public facilities with the planning board. We would note that large comparable planned communities in Montgomery County, such as Kentlands and King Farm, don't suffer from inadequate peripheral road access. Kentlands has 4,400 residential units and 1 million square feet of commercial space and has 4 major roadways on all sides of the community and benefits from proximity to I-370 and I-270. King Farm, with about 3,000 housing units, has good peripheral road access on all sides with almost direct access to I-270 from Shady Grove Road and Redlands Road. I'm almost done, so if you give me just another moment, please. Our neighbors would like to see the Perconti and Site 2 property redeveloped, but in a manner that occurs concurrent with peripheral road improvements. We're hoping that funds borrowed through the TIF could be used to fund projects such as the widening of Old Columbia Pike, rebuilding the bridge over the Pant Branch, US 29, and Cherry Hill, and other draft mitigating solutions. As part of this effort, we believe a coordinated peripheral roads improvement project should be spearheaded by Montgomery County in coordination with the State Highway Administration and Prince George's County, so these improvements come online as any new development is built out.
Mr. Weiss, please wrap up. You can always
I have one more sentence, please. New ideas such as the Cherry Hill interchange with I-95 a mile west of Viva White Oak and a flash bus to the Intermag Greenbelt Metro Station should be explored. We look forward to working with the developers and identifying solutions to these challenges. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That is it for our public hearing today. This public hearing is now closed. All right. Our next item is item 10, is a public hearing and action on a resolution to approve supplemental appropriation 25-86 to the FY25 operating budget, Montgomery County Government leases non-departmental account in the amount of $3 million. The source of funds is general fund undesignated reserve. The council action is scheduled immediately following this hearing. There are no registered speakers for this hearing. The public hearing is now closed. We will now move on to action portion of this item. Is there a motion to approve supplemental appropriation 25-86? Councilmember Sales moved. Councilmember Malcolm second. All those in favor, please raise your hand. And that is unanimous of those who are here. Item 11 is a public hearing and action on a resolution to approve supplemental appropriation 25-62 to the FY25 operating budget, Montgomery County Government, Montgomery County Fire and Rescue Service, general personnel and operating costs in the amount of approximately $15.3 million. The source of funds is undesignated fire fund reserves. Council action is scheduled immediately following this hearing. There are no registered speakers for this hearing. The public hearing is now closed. We'll now move on to the action portion of this item. Is there a motion to approve supplemental appropriation 25-62? Council Vice President Jawando moved. Do I have a second? Councilmember Sales second. All those in favor, please raise your hand. And that is unanimous of those who are present. Next item is item number 12, a public hearing and action on a resolution to approve supplemental appropriation 25-74 to the FY25 operating budget, Montgomery County Government, Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation, general personnel and operating costs in the amount of $6.2 million and $166,000. The source of funds is general funds undesignated reserves. Council action is scheduled immediately following the hearing. As a reminder of public hearing testimony guidelines, your comments must be limited to issues relevant to the public hearing topic for which you are testifying and are appropriate for a public meeting. You hear a tone when your time is up, and we appreciate everyone abiding by their allotted time. We have one speaker, Mr. John DeVille. Nope. Okay. We have no speakers for this. Then today, this public hearing is now closed. We will now move on to the action portion of this item. Is there a motion to approve supplemental appropriation 25-74? Council Vice President Jawando moved. Councilmember Sales seconded. All those in favor, please raise your hand. And that is unanimous of those who are present. The next item is item number 13, is a public hearing and action on a resolution to approve supplemental appropriation 25-71 to the FY25 operating budget, Montgomery County Government, Department of Transportation and Transit Services, in the amount of $9.2 million. The source of funds is Mass Transit Fund undesignated reserves. Council action is scheduled immediately following this hearing. There are no registered speakers for this hearing. The public hearing is now closed. We will now move on to the action portion of this item. Is there a motion to approve supplemental appropriation 25-71? Council Vice President Jawando moved. Councilmember Sales seconded. All those in favor, please raise your hand. And that is unanimous of those present. Item number 14 is a public hearing and action on a resolution to approve supplemental appropriation 25-72 to the FY25 operating budget, Montgomery County Government, Department of Housing and Community Affairs, Montgomery Housing Initiative Fund, in the amount of $6,780,000. Source of funds is general funds undesignated reserves. Council action is scheduled immediately following this hearing. There are no registered speakers for this hearing. The public hearing is now closed. We will now move on to the action portion of this item. Is there a motion to approve supplemental appropriation 25-72? Council Vice President Jawando moved. Councilmember Balcom seconded. All those in favor, please raise your hand. And that is unanimous of those present. Next is item 15, is a public hearing and action on a resolution to approve supplemental appropriation 25-77 to the FY25 operating budget, Montgomery County Government, Snow Removal and Storm Cleanup, Department of Transportation, in the amount of over $18.7 million. Department of General Services, over $5 million. The source of funds is general funds undesignated reserves. Council action is scheduled immediately following this hearing. There are no registered speakers for this hearing. The public hearing is now closed. We'll now move on to the action portion of this item. Is there a motion to approve supplemental appropriation 25-77? Councilmember Jawando moved. Do I have a second? Councilmember Balcom second. All those in favor, please raise your hand. And that is unanimous of those present. Item 16 is a public hearing and action on a resolution to approve an amendment to the FY25-30 Capital Improvement Program and supplemental appropriation 25-83 to the FY25 capital budget, Montgomery County Public Schools Plan Life Cycle Asset Replacement, MCPS, in the amount of $602,651. Council action is scheduled immediately following this hearing. There are no registered speakers for this hearing. The public hearing is now closed. We will now move on to the action portion of this item. Is there a motion to approve supplemental appropriation 25-83? Council Vice President Jawando moved. Councilmember Sales seconded. All those in favor, please raise your hand. And that is unanimous of those present. And that was our last item for this afternoon. Thank you, everyone who came out for the public hearing today. We appreciate it, and we are adjourned.
Sculpture of Harry Tubman that I made, and I was so honored to do that. And there are two sculptures in front of that building, Nathan Hale and Harry